Tuesdays again. We're back at it.
We'll probably have to give back some. Yeah. So greetings, family. What's happening? It's Brother Shaq
And Mama Fiyah.
for True Love Movement Tuesdays. We thank you for joining us. We have a
Hi.
that's right. We have a jam-packed show for you on True Love Movement Tuesdays. A lot going on. Mama Fiyah, talk about this weekend as we get into this show, because it was a whirlwind of a weekend since last Friday. Right?
Last Friday, yes. So we had a wonderful, hey everybody. Hey, my sister. Hey, everybody. Thank y'all for joining in. So we had a really good weekend. We did the Women of Color Days of Healing. And that was Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And then Sunday it was my son's 13th birthday. But it was just a great weekend, nonstop, back to back to back to back. We got it. We had it going on. It was really great. I was able to facilitate a workshop. It was 50 minutes. It was quick and fast, but we got it in.
That's right.
Practical ways of emotional healing. And first things first is to know that emotional healing is possible.
Right.
Emotional healing is possible. And to know that anything is possible, unless it's against a natural law, it is possible.
Right.
And so that's part of learning who we are as far as magical beings on the planet, you know. And then Saturday night, I had the honor of introducing the Quartier Rouge Noir Burlesque experience.
There you go.
Yes, that was
That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, and it was an eyeful, and
Right.
It was beautiful, and it was all the fulls, because my sisters really did a wonderful job doing something so brilliant. And the sister I was sitting next to, Ashley, and she was like, "Oh, I love burlesque, and you never see a black burlesque show, so
Right.
I'm so excited." And I didn't realize, because I had never been a connoisseur of burlesque, so I didn't realize how it's really a niche that these sisters have found, black burlesque. And it was so well done, because it was mixed with spoken word and just breathtaking at times, and really tear-jerking at times as well. So just very artsy, very well done. And I was so proud of the sisters. And so we're going to talk about it all today. We're going to talk about the show, and then talk about its impact as well, and why it's important.
Right on, Mama Fiyah. I'm really excited too. We'll have some sisters joining us.
Yes.
That were a big part of that. We want to shout out everybody who's on Facebook Live, because we got you on Facebook Live and on the Instagram Live.
Yeah, we doing it up for True Love Movement Tuesdays.
True Love Movement Tuesdays. And so shout out, we see Sonny Patterson is there with us. What's going on, Mama? We got Enchante Blue Lotus Franklin. She's there. Natasha Wilson. Of course, Joy S. Warner. Sweet Storm Productions in the house.
Sweet Storm Productions, my sisters Joy Warner and Loretta Marie.
Right.
They'll be joining us very shortly to talk about the show and its impact.
That's right.
On them. This was a dream come true for both of those sisters.
She said that Loretta and both Joy both shared that evening, about this being something that they had been having around their heads and in their hearts for a long time.
Yes, great.
And mentioned you, and Runaway Girl in that particular production is really giving them that little boost.
Yeah.
To say, we can go ahead on and do this.
I believe in black women brilliance.
Absolutely.
I believe in black women's dreams coming true. I believe in black women's thoughts mattering. The black women's thoughts matter. And so it's important. I'm so glad True Love Movement was able to help sponsor this brilliant show. And we're going to hear from Loretta and Joy right now as soon as possible. We're going to hear from them as soon as possible to tell about their dreams coming true, and tell about what is it that, how we can do to support, how we can support them. There was one particular part of the show, and we're going to talk to Joy about that. There was one particular part of the show And this is when Joy had on the white, and the spoken word was about breaking glass of the mirror. And oh, it was so emotional and so well done that this impact is going to be so great for my sisters to see, and linking the pain, the pain and the trauma involved in sex work,
right,
as well. And Loretta asked me to talk about that, introducing the show, but at the moment I didn't really want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it here, Brother Shaq.
definitely.
And so well written, so well directed, wonderful.
That's right.
All right, so we're trying to get
Loretta
Marie. She's gonna have
in
to.
there. I sent Loretta a.
Yeah, you're gonna have to join in, Queen.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to join in so that we can get you on camera.
That's right. So I know. I'm sure she's looking right.
Yeah, she says she's not tech savvy.
Right.
But we requested you to join, sister, so that you can get on the screen, so that we can hear you.
That's right.
As well. We ready. We want to hear what you have to say. We can add Joy. There's Joy. We can add Joy. Yes. All right.
Some mosquito must have got me.
Here we come. We're adding Joy right now. So she's going to speak.
Get out of there? Yeah, just X out the whole.
Hey, my sister.
You're here with us, Joy.
Yeah.
Loretta.
Hey, oh, they together.
Right.
Cool. Well, hey, Sweet Storm Productions.
Hey.
We got Sweet Star Productions here, family. What's happening?
All right, so we're talking about y'all amazing show. It was really amazing, and we are so thankful for your dreams coming true. We're so thankful for your vision. So tell us about your dreams. Tell us about how it went down.
Well, we've been talking about doing this since like 2008, since before I moved to Atlanta. And being in Atlanta and just seeing the theater scene and the disappointment out there, we were talking about it again, and just life and everything else in between to get you caught up. So once we did Runaway Girl for you, and
Yes.
we were like,
And that was a dream come true.
Ashe. Can't wait to do it again.
That part.
Yeah.
But you all inspired us, and we was like, we could really do this. So afterwards,
Yes, you can.
Joy.
Yes, you did.
Huh?
She said, yes, you did. Yes,
I said, yes, you did.
Ashe. So Joy posted about wanting to start her own burlesque show, Belle Femme Noir. And the feedback that she got from sisters who had actually never done burlesque before but wanted to put themselves out there was like overwhelming and exciting. So I was doing a show called Postcards, and it's about Storyville, the history of Storyville. But there was one particular part about the show that I enjoyed. It was talking about Lulu White, who was a madam in Storyville, and her home called Mahogany Hall. And the women that her having 40 women, and one of them being the GOAT. And I wanted to touch more on that. So when Joy came with the idea of doing the burlesque show, I was like, let's do something different. Let's make it a little bit about Black Storyville and introduce the people about Black Storyville, and then have each lady have their own story of how they came to the house, but include spoken word and poetry. And she was like, yeah. And then, started doing the research on Lulu White and Black Storyville, and, just the different women and things like that.
Yeah, it was the stories that was so captivating, along with it captured every sense, all of the senses, and to see the sisters dancing and also know their stories ahead of time just really added a beautiful touch to it. So congratulations on that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Right on.
Yeah. So tell us, Joy, tell us about your experience with the choreography of the beautiful of this amazing show.
I was doing the idea came from me doing lighting and sound at a venue who hosts a burlesque show. And I noticed
Okay.
that like this show happened bi-weekly, and I noticed that there were none of us on that stage.
Now come on.
So, and even like going to burlesque shows, there's usually one of us, and she's usually on first.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm about to start my own troupe because I didn't really care for the feedback I got when I asked about possibly joining this particular troupe. So I was like, well, maybe I should just start my own. This is something that I've been, working at. I had done shows years past, and it just made sense. And then when she came up with the idea of the brothel, I was like, that's perfect. So
Mm.
Yeah.
the choreography part of it, like for the opening and closing number, those just came like butter. And the girls, well, the ladies that we had dancing with us, like they took to the choreography immediately. They loved it. They couldn't wait to perform it. Every rehearsal, they like, let's do it again, let's do it again, let's do it again. Um, uh, my brother Polanco, he came in with on the private dancer choreo, and he just
Uh-huh.
like, said it all. But
Right on.
every every woman in this show had personality, and each personality was shown
Mhm.
in their choreography and their set for their numbers. I didn't choreograph any of their numbers. That was all they're doing.
Okay.
So I pretty
Really?
much
So you
gave them.
didn't choreograph any of the ladies? You
No,
didn't
I only
choreograph their
choreographed
numbers?
the. No, I choreographed the group numbers.
Wow, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know
That
that
takes it
either.
to a whole nother level. I didn't realize that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Well, I
Yep.
was really,
I,
really proud of y'all, Joy.
thank you.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
really appreciated that too as a black man. I would, what's that, Larita? Larita, you say something? Because
No,
they got
I
a
just
little bit of
giggled.
delay over here. Oh,
Oh
okay.
no, I just
I
laughed.
wanted to, oh, okay. I wanted to ask for our viewers if you could explain like what burlesque is and the difference between like burlesque and say the strip club or some of the things that people may be, confused about.
Well, burlesque is the art of the
Could you shed some
striptease.
light on it?
So
Okay.
in burlesque, it's more of making the audience wait. Unlike a strip club where they come
Got
out
it.
already naked and they're basically, I don't want to say just shaking, but they're vying for your attention to give them money. Whereas burlesque, it's about, well, what's about to happen? Oh, what is she taking off? Is she gonna take
Right.
it off? Because there was one point where I kind of took my robe off my
Right.
shoulder and I put it right back. So it was,
Right. Okay.
in like the, I don't even know how I want to say this because I don't want to say real burlesque because I feel like what we did was real burlesque.
Right.
The woman she doesn't take it all off till the end. So it's basically making the audience wait, like what is going to happen, giving them that sense of, what's going to happen, making them be patient
Right.
because you don't have to be patient at the strip club. You already know what you're going there for.
Right.
But in burlesque, it's a theatrical production. That has
Got
the
it.
audience wanting more.
It's a sense, it seems like a sense of mystery
Yeah.
Yes,
as well as art.
yes.
You know, like you said, the art of the striptease is very artful. All the costumes, all of the songs. I mean, it all went together so perfectly. As far as the spoken word, did the ladies write their own pieces or did Loretta write them? How did that go?
John L. and I collaborated on the spoken word pieces. We got together, we met, mapped out a script, said what we were gonna say, and I, just let them know, hey, I need a piece here. This is, her background, and we just went from there, pretty much.
We asked the ladies
Okay.
to send in a backstory on their
Mhm.
character. So once
Got
we
it.
got the
Okay.
backstory on their character, we developed their characters even more from that. And that's how they came up with their costuming.
Yeah, we wanted it to. We gave them a history, a background of Storyville. Um, let them know that there usually is a connection between trauma and sex workers, and we asked them to, as if it was a,
Uh-huh.
like most theater companies or whatever, like, okay, pick a name and give us a story, and then we'll mold that story into something else. Tell us who you feel like your character is.
Right.
Where did she come from? How old is she? And then we developed it from there.
Okay.
Beautifully done.
Beautifully done.
Who wrote the piece for Joy when she had the white on, about the mirror and the breaking of the mirror? Who wrote that?
I did.
Loretta, that was so beautiful. Loretta, that was to me,
Thank
I mean,
you.
it was also amazing, but that piece brought the heart in.
Right.
All of the pieces had a sense of something had happened to the young ladies, and they come from trauma in some way, but that piece just made it so personal.
Clearly.
Enjoyed the costuming, your makeup, the choreography. It was amazing. That is like award winning right there.
Definitely.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you, when you mentioned the trauma that's associated with sex work, and the earlier in our broadcast, you mentioned postcards from over the edge. We were fortunate enough to be asked to facilitate a talk back after a reading of an excerpt of Postcards from Over the Edge recently. And it was, I think our introduction to that production, and also a lot of the history that goes along with
Mm-hmm.
the imposition and the laws that impact sex workers in particular, who are disproportionately Black and female. And how long those laws have been on the books, and how so the tell us the why that was important to put that into the story from your perspective as a writer, because that's what I thought was very skillful about it. It wasn't just what we were looking at, but it was also what we were listening to.
Yes.
And understanding that though these sisters have these skills and this talent, that it started somewhere else, that this is more of them using what they have. Is largely about being able to survive in a society. I don't know. I don't see. Loretta must have done something, because she's not tech savvy. Let's see.
We gonna find y'all.
Yeah, you're right.
We gonna find y'all. We gonna get y'all back.
Yeah.
There she go.
We lost y'all for a minute. Sorry.
All
There we
right.
go.
Uh,
So did you catch all the question?
I caught the first part, which was you talking about postcards over the edge, and as a writer talking about the trauma, I believe.
Well, yeah, and the you know the sex work and the way that Black women in particular were targeted, and the laws that are on the books, and making that connection that these women aren't simply just doing this because this was their lifelong dream and this is all they ever wanted to do in life, that there was some circumstances that happened to them, typically young in their development, that brought them to this place where this seemed like possibly the best option. And then how we all have been socialized to dehumanize them and more or less blame them for the condition and say, well, it's their own fault, and want to exploit them without acknowledging their humanity. Was my take. You know?
Because of, I want to say because of the Me Too movement, because of so many sisters that I know personally who have suffered from some type of trauma in their childhood, in their teens, in their young adulthood. I wanted it to be something that's going to be also healing, because I'm going through my own healing process. Joy is going through her own healing process. A lot of other sisters I know are going through their own healing process. And for me, it has always been something that I wanted to do where I included my art and spirituality and healing for the community as well. And because of everything that's been going on with Bill Cosby and everything that's been going on in the media with Trump and stuff, I just felt like it was the perfect time when Joy came with the idea that we can definitely include that and let people know, no, this, you can't judge a person by their past because you don't know what path they walked. Right. You don't know what their past looked like to make them get to where they are now. You know, our past really does affect us. But how do you let it affect you? Do you want to go on to, heal and move forward? Like, I wanted to also make it be empowering to where these ladies didn't make it, their trauma make them, Right. It was something that they overpowered and that they embraced with their sexuality.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Because what I was empowered in watching it, very empowered. As a trauma survivor, I understand how it could send you down a path. But even that part is important, and it was a very important part of the play. But what I love to see, regardless of that part, is the divine sexuality of the sisters who wanted to share themselves, but on their own terms. Right. No one was making them dance. They didn't need to dance to pay the rent for this burlesque show. Like they wanted to show themselves as beautiful, theatrically dancing, sexy, artsy, steamy. The balance of a Black woman. And it's important, I think people automatically turn their nose up against a Black woman showing herself as a divinely sexual being on her own terms.
Right. That's the part.
That's the part.
The part, not that she's not a divine sexual being, but the sexualization and limiting her to that's all she is a sexual being. Right. And this play demonstrating her doing that on her own terms is empowering. I think it flips the whole script, and that's one of the things I appreciated as a man and as a Black man sitting there witnessing that there wasn't an imposition on the sisters for doing this. No, they weren't being made to do it, that they chose to showcase this aspect, just an aspect of themselves. What you say, Joy?
I'm being mommy right now, making Tatum go get in the bed.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what that's all about. Right on.
And look, some of you're a mama. Everybody's has they day job and things that they do. I know Gabby, one of the dancers, is also a mama. I'm not sure about the other sisters, but it's like, it's so beautiful to see dreams coming true like this for women who, are mamas, you know, are taking care of children and still making sure that they have their dreams in the proper place and they're prioritizing, like shining their light.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that
Thank you
display.
for creating that. Yeah,
You
definitely.
and thank y'all
Definitely.
Well,
for
thank
believing in
y'all.
us.
Right.
Like I am about to get teary eyed again, but you know.
Right
Yes,
on.
yes. I didn't know. I mean, I knew that you were perfect to direct Runaway Girl, but I had no idea that it would help y'all say it's time for Sweet Storm Productions, you know, because people need this burlesque show. And I
Right.
know, and I hear that people are really like it's sought after right now, right, Larita?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We've gotten a few emails about taking it on tour already. We had a talent scout call us today
There you
about
go.
doing
Yes,
a showcase on
There
yes.
you
the
go.
and just the sisters that's just been texting and emailing and embracing us, saying how it was just healing for them to be there, you know, and how they were just feeling sexy and empowered and everything, you know. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, a lot of sisters
And
was like, I needed this. Matter of fact, the one of the sponsors who donated the chairs and stuff, she came over and she was like, I'm ready. I want to do it. I got my backstory. I want to do the next show. And then Nikki Bird, she was like, I want to be a narrator. I want to be in it. I want to do something because she did spoken word
Yes.
as well. So it's like, yeah, come on.
Yeah. Let's do this.
right, right on.
So great.
You know, Mama Fiyah, I wanted to ask while she was talking about sponsoring and those kinds of things. For our viewers, please explain or make the connection, because when people think about True Love Movement and Black mental wellness, they don't necessarily connect that with a burlesque show or a Black burlesque show. It seems like those things are not related. Would you, you know, kind of inform our viewers or share with everyone how it's very much aligned and in line and connected with the True Love Movement and the mission of True Love Movement?
Definitely. I mean, it comes from, you know, True Love Movement is all about supporting Black mama and supporting the Black woman.
That's right.
And so my sisters, whom I love and adore, have a dream of bringing to light, you know, burlesque as an art form, burlesque as an art form, dance and sexual freedom and liberation, as well as bringing forth the backstory
Right,
of
the storytelling.
of the storytelling piece.
Mhm.
This is directly in line with it, because we're not afraid of Black women and as being sexual beings.
Not at all.
We're not afraid of sex or not afraid of any of those things, you know. And mainly, we are for the empowerment of a woman, or just a woman, a Black woman understanding her own power.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what we about.
Right.
That's right.
And so when Larita came to us, the answer was yes,
Right.
immediately. And I made sure to say, you know, we want to, if we're going to sponsor in any way, we want to talk about the trauma in the sex work piece. And she was like, definitely, you know,
Right.
definitely y'all should talk about it, because a lot of my people, the sisters that I see, are survivors of trauma,
That's right.
especially sexual violation. And when you sexually violated, it's not on your own terms.
Right.
So when a Black woman can be a sexual being on her own terms, I'm going to champion that
That's right.
100% every single time.
Yeah, sure.
And I can appreciate it too, as a Black man and for Black men, specifically the Black men that I work with, because me and a brother, we were working together today, and we were talking about how part of the way we've been socialized is that all we've ever wanted growing up was to have a Black girl, like having a car or any other kind of possession, and thought that we should have one, you know, and without any regard to who she is as a human being or how she come to be how she is, but that she was in fact a possession to be sought after, and a Black girl, not a Black woman, so that she wasn't even given any kind of thought of evolution. So there's a very narrow scope of socialization for Black men throughout society, and everybody we know has taken from the Black woman. So that's the historical legacy of the Black woman, you know, from the plantation here in America. So everybody has taken from and exploited the Black woman, and then blamed her for how that's impacted her being, and there's nobody gets checked for that. And so I think it's brilliant for you to do this way to show the complexity and the depth of the Black women who are a part of this, because that story and that history is so important to seeing the human being. It isn't just simply the superficial sex or sexiness or sex work, but that this is in fact a human being. And I think it's hard to put that message across in a society that, you know, dehumanizes all Black people, but no one is more disrespected and exploited than the Black woman.
Right.
So I see this bringing things into the serious balance, and I appreciate that. And I think Christopher Williams, one eye, he concurs. He's doing some hearts and thumbs up on the thing there.
And you know what? Let me say this. You know, where did we begin this idea that Black women's bodies are nasty?
Right.
Or you being nasty if you show, you know, what, it's a beautiful sight to see a Black woman's body when she chooses to stand up and show it to us.
That's right.
You know, that's something we need to throw out. And I know this is part of the society, it's part of patriarchy, you know, it's part of all kind of things that we're dealing with in our society and having to have on our minds. But this show is breaking that.
Right.
It's breaking all those rules. And that's what I appreciate about my sisters, because only y'all can do it.
That's right. And it's very important. That's right. It's a gift to Sister Blue Lotus Franklin saying it's a gift.
It's a gift to all of us to witness.
Yes.
Another one about
this is good
dancers.
education.
Sister,
yeah, I remember you. I remember
Blue Lotus.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Doing amazing work herself in a community.
Yeah.
Right on. All of you all are.
Yeah.
And so we were gonna call one of the dancers, Amani Black Pearl.
Right.
We're gonna call her on the line and get some understanding. That's my sister, and I'm so proud of her because I'm clear that this is one of her dreams.
I'm so proud
She
of
rocked the house with that song, man. And
yes, she did. Yes, she did. It was the climax of the show. I'm getting ready to call her now.
Okay.
Loretta, they got so many phones over here, you would give up.
Phones
Never and wires up. And all kind of other foolishness.
Never give up, queen.
Try to make it work. You don't get no liver than this. It's ringing.
Hello. Hey, can I speak to Amani Black Pearl, the superstar of Quartier Rouge Noir?
Wow, the superstar. Let me find out. This is she. How are you all doing today?
We are good. Can y'all hear her? Marina Joy?
Yes,
yeah.
Okay, good.
They hear me? Okay.
Yes. So we're on Facebook Live right now. We're also on Instagram Live.
Okay.
Yep. And so we are excited to have one of the actual dancers. Of course, we have Joy and we have the director, but one of the dancers. And so tell us, how are you feeling days after the show?
Okay, so I can tell you how I'm feeling today, 2 days after the show. I'm honestly still like high on life, and I'm still on a cloud, and just really proud of myself. I'm still getting feedback. Somebody came to my job today and told me again that they really enjoyed my performance. I had a random person pass me on the street and tell me I did a good job. So I'm like, oh, I knew I kind of recognized your face a little bit. And so I'm just really proud of myself, and just still the conversations that me and the ladies are having in our text messages is just really continuing to validate what we've done and really proving to me what I already knew, which was that Quartier Rouge Noir was not the end at all. That was like really before the beginning.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Still feeling so uplifted, yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. And so, you know, we were talking about your show, your song that you chose to use and how it brought the house down. So tell us about your inspiration on that.
Yes, well, I will tell you, to be honest, the inspiration behind choosing the song Liberation with Outkast and Erykah Badu, I was in the car with my friend, and he was like, oh, I think you'll probably like this kind of song, this kind of music, and he played it. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is what I should be dancing to. This was like 4 days before the show, mind you. I had already picked the song, which was also very fitting for my character and for her story, but when I heard Liberation, just how much that song moved me, he had no idea that this was a song I was already very connected to. So just listening to the song and seeing how it moved me, it let me know that was the song I needed to be dancing to. And my character, Lady Skookum, she is basically a runaway. Like, she left Liberia and she ran away from her family. She'll never return to her family, and she felt very oppressed in her life. So coming to America and working in the red light district, that was a sense of liberation for her, and using her sexuality on her own terms. So the song Liberation was great for me as a person in my sexual journey, and also for my character.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And so listen, ladies, we have a question from one of the viewers on Facebook Live. Y'all ready for it?
Okay.
Okay, he says, how do we reach the youth when they look up to the Cardis and others who push that agenda? He says.
When she's saying what agenda exactly?
So right before you got on the line, we talked about how, we talked about how some people see the Black woman's sexuality as dirty or nasty or something like that. The Black woman's body, you know, her showing her body as dirty or nasty. And I'm just thinking he's speaking on that. What do you think, Brother Shay?
Well, yeah, that's Baba Paul Lagan, and he was essentially, he's asking how do, and I'll go back to the question if I can get it, because I don't want to misquote the brother.
Yeah, he says, how do we reach the youth when they look up to the Cardis and others who push that agenda?
And so I guess that agenda is referring to maybe sex or sexualization as it relates to Black women. What's your take on that?
I can speak on that. I think that being an African woman in America who I do publicize my sexual journey and my sexuality, and being a Scorpio, sexuality is very important to me. And I've been a young girl. It can be really challenging when we get all these skewed views of what sexuality is. And so we have to go to the nitty gritty. We are in a patriarchal society where the very people who started the nation that we live in, their main goal is to oust femininity. So I always tell people, we think we're fighting a war on terrorism or Black people or a war on drugs. No, the war is on femininity, period. Number 9, that is life, that is the beginning of everything. And anyone who is against nature, quote unquote, they are against femininity. So of course it's going to stand to reason that the very thing that brought you to this world, which is female sexuality, because without a woman having sex, you wouldn't be here. We look down on that because we want to make people feel guilty and ashamed of that sexuality, so that we can stop feeling like we're full of life, and we can stop being happy and proud in bringing that life. So when you see people taking their clothes off in public or dancing in a certain kind of way, twerking and things like that, well, in African nations, in other times and places, that's a ceremonious dance that attracts a man to you for marriage. We don't have that anymore. You can't find a husband in the club, but you absolutely should be able to, I feel, you know. And also, as a fan of Cardi B, she was a stripper, and she continues to exude her sexuality in her music, even as a married woman and a mother, you know. And a lot of people look down on her for that, but what they're not doing is listening to what she's saying. And she promotes motherhood and monogamy in her music, and people don't think about that because they just hear the profanity and the different things that they want to hear to support their opinions of her, you know. And so I think that when it comes to things like that, like I know Joy teaches the twerk class, and children are welcome at her twerk class as well as many others. And I think that some people would think that's absurd. We don't want the children to see that. Well, first of all, guess what? All the little girls are twerking in secret anyway, so we want them twerking in front of us so that we can begin to show them that this is natural. This is a celebration of your womanhood. And without celebrating your womanhood, you're about to have unwanted pregnancies, you're about to have unwanted attention, you're about to have fibroids and all kinds of unhealthy womb issues because we are afraid of and ashamed of our sexuality. So for people who look down on Cardi B for exuding what she does, you are part of the problem. We have to start changing that mentality. So for what me, Joy, and Larita and what our team did, it's a celebration of our sensuality and of our sexuality. Without sex, we would not be here. Let's not forget that. Without sex, we would not be here, you know. And so I think that it's very important for us as who we are, everyone who's listening to this right now, including myself, to take that idea and begin to find our own ways to spread that idea around our community, that sexuality is important to know, that children understand sexuality. And so as adults, we have to be the ones to swoop down and teach them about sexuality in a healthy, appropriate way so that when they're 13, no one's tricking them into having sex. They can understand what their bodies are and what their bodies do and what it all really means.
That's right. Yes. Well, what do you say, Joy and Larita?
Yeah, I saw Joy's head. Joy has something.
She referred to my twerk class. And I had children that, like, one of my classmates, she would bring her daughters, and I remember another friend was like, "Is that a child in there? Why is there a child in there?" And I'm like, "Because her mother is okay with her doing it." I mean, as a teacher, they do it all the time, and when they catch one of us looking, they stop. Like it's a bad thing. And I'm always the one that's like, "Y'all keep going. Hey, look, you're just dancing." You know, talking about the Black femininity, like I have so many women that's like, "Well, I got to get my body right. I'm going to do it, but I got to go work out. I got to get my body tight." I don't want your body tight. I don't want the typical body. I don't want a model body. I want stretch marks and mama bellies.
Come on, Queen. That was what was so beautiful about the piece in the white. Oh my God, I'm telling you, like, oh, it's so divinely beautiful. And yes, my daughter as well, you know, as far as her body is concerned, you know, when we see a woman either, you know, without her clothes on or maybe, you know, dressed, you know, provocatively as they call it, it's either one or two things. One thing, a man's looking at her like she's a piece of meat, or a man or woman is like, "Oh, that's too nasty," or "That's too this." And then so if a woman hears that and really internalizes that, her body becomes her enemy. Right. You know, her body becomes something she has to be ashamed of. Her body becomes something she, you know, and that's what we see. We see these young people with body dysmorphia issues and throwing up and all these kind of things to fit into a certain mold and all, you know. And so I think your experience, your burlesque experience, is shattering all of that. And so congratulations so much for that, for liberating your own selves and liberating all of the audience as they're watching it.
Definitely. I wanted to add too, I think that the what's showcased in the burlesque show that you all are doing is the sexual power of Black women. Yes. And that sexual power of Black women has been sought after, and the desire to harness that, as Pearl alluded to, in this patriarchal society, you know, from kidnapping to, as soon as them white boys really understood what was happening, they wanted to make sure that to keep control of this. And so the Black woman has been targeted that way for the entire duration, for sure, of this country. And as Black men have also been co-opted in that effort to maintain that arrangement. And there's a fear that if the Black woman gains a sense of her own power, that somehow she'll use that to oppress or suppress Black men, which we all know better. But this fear is not ours as Black men. This fear is in inception from the white dominant culture, you know, particularly the white man. And for black men, we talk about the black men that I work with, we always talk about our white daddy and where we get all this bullshit from. You know what I'm saying? This thought about the black woman just being only her body, you know, and that somehow we are helpless to control ourselves if she takes off her clothes or whatever the case is, so she should stop or she should change. And that's not our natural selves. And so I appreciate the creation of this kind of thing to start or at least continue the conversation, but deepen the conversation.
Yes.
Because it's very, very superficial when we're only looking at the body and the sex and the sex work aspect of it. It doesn't deal with, you know, the why and the history and what happened before to really humanize the black women that we all come from. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So I talked about my favorite part of the show, like several times, right? I mean, I thought it was so well done. I couldn't really pick apart like who was my favorite and da da da. I know for sure that the Joyce, when she was in white and Loretta was reading that spoken word piece, I actually had tears in my eyes, right? But if you had to pick, what was your favorite part of the show?
You said.
For who?
For anyone who wants to answer that.
We got Joy, we got Larita, we got Pearl. What's your favorite part?
For me, I guess because I was in them. My favorite part was the private dancer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Where
I forgot about that song.
Where I was basically like teaching the new girls the ways of the house, basically. And then I got to watch them blossom into the ladies of the house.
I mean, there's so many.
That was a beautiful part.
I have more
than
than
Gabby, right?
I was just about to say that's the first
thinking about Victoria
when she came out and just tore it up with that high energy and just was doing a thing with her peacock feather outfit on and I'm just sitting there like, yes, get it, you know, because there was a little malfunction in the back, but we worked that out and it was just like, yes, you know. I mean, Skookum coming out and with the mirror and doing her thing with the mirror and then sprinkling glitter and everything, man.
The glitter.
Yes,
The
man.
glitter.
Oh, the glitter. It makes me want to do the glitter.
Yes. Rue coming out with her cape, doing her thing, man. Stacy, and just how regal she was on stage. You know, Stacy was Amoret. She was the Paula girl initially, and then when she
Amoret, that smile.
Yes, that smile.
Man.
That smile.
So sexy.
Yes.
So sexy. Yes.
You know, and just showing her regalness and just she looked like a queen. God is up there just embracing everything and just showing her power and just proud to be in her power and letting everybody else know, look, you have this power too, you know?
And she worked hard for that body and she showed it off with pride.
Yes. I asked Loretta, I said, she must work out, huh? That sister, she did her muscle like that. Everybody fell out. That was amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the closing.
Beautiful job.
Yes, definitely the closing number.
I was about to say.
Yes, the closing number was beautiful.
Like a River, I would say is my favorite part because it was like after we did everything, like y'all just saw everything else that we had to offer. Like a River was the last thing. We was about to shut it down. The song is powerful. The dance is sexy. And it was kind of like, all right, y'all already saw everything. What y'all think? You know, oh, wait, one more thing. You know, I really like that song and that dance.
Beautiful.
Very well done.
It was powerful to see y'all together, to see all the dancers together. And what I noticed was that my ladies had on red, black, and green. I don't know if y'all did that on purpose, but
yeah,
that was that was a good touch. That was a beautiful touch, and I noticed that. And those are the ways in our productions that we can give these messages without saying a word, these messages to our people who are watching these things.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
that
know
was that
Sister RB.
one of my favorites too, because I just love that Nina Simone song and just the way they opened up with it and everything. I felt like that was like the perfect part to open up with, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was. I want to see it again.
That's right.
I'm ready to do
Like
it again.
soon.
I'm ready to do it again.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when is it gonna be? Where? Please let us know.
Yes, when I get back from my recoup trip to Atlanta.
We gonna look. We working on it.
Okay.
I've already posted about a Halloween theme show that I want to do on October
Okay.
27th. So I'll be keeping everybody posted on that. I actually have 2 new ladies to add to the roster for that show.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. It's growing. It's growing so fast and beautifully. Look at y'all, baby, just growing.
Wait, I don't guess you're going to have too much trouble getting some new sisters to come on board and check it out now that it's happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
And, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing that. I think it would be a good thing for many sisters to participate
Yeah.
and many brothers to come out and see it too.
You know,
To really come out and see it, appreciate it.
Right.
someone mentioned they were like, I want to see the other 40 girls. Are you going to have new girls every time? We would love to see different, women and have each woman in their story. I was like, oh, that's a thought. But, everybody's like, they want to see all 40 women at some point.
Right.
Wow. But I loved how Amani called it her team.
Yeah.
She said, Larita Joy in the team.
Yes.
And it just sounds like sisterhood to me.
It
It sounds
is.
like
It
sisterhood. It
is.
sounds like power.
It
Yeah,
definitely is.
like I said,
Awesome.
with the exception of Gabby and Ebony, and I just recently started working with
Oh,
Stacy
Ebony
over
was
the
so
summer.
live. She was so.
And like I said, with the exception of those 3, everybody else was strangers and were strangers to me, but they were all strangers to each other. And we bonded, like we all clicked immediately. And it was healing for us. Like there were times in rehearsal where we didn't dance, we just talked about what we've been through and how this is empowering us and how this is making us feel. So, and I mean a lot of that time was me crying and trying to collect my life and being happy about this happening.
Joy and I had many sister fire moments in here when it was just the 2 of us. Crying on each other's shoulders.
I
got
believe
this.
in crying.
We gonna do it. I got a migraine. You got a migraine. We gonna do this. You gonna take this bad. I'm gonna make this bad for you. And she'd be like, "Here, you need to eat."
A lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah. Taking care of each other, huh, sisters?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, it's been truly beautiful and enriching for me. And Mama Fiyah, you know a lot about my journey with my sexuality and with womanhood and sisterhood and all of that.
Yes.
And when I first found out about the show, through you, mind you, like you
That's
were the one who
right.
gave me that
Making
Facebook group.
connections.
I don't have Facebook, and you were like, "Oh, they're looking for burlesque," and you know my life, so you knew I would be interested. And I put this on my Instagram story, Joy. You saw this, and I was like, I really didn't realize what I was really embarking on, but it was part of the journey all along to be a part of this team. Like I said, a team, with all these women, and we're all different. We look different. Our lives are different. We dance different. All of that. Our purposes for being a part of the production were different. But at the end of the day, it was just so empowering and enriching for my femininity, my womanhood, my self-love, how I relate to other people, and even just as far as like seeing Joy and Larita take something that they've been wanting to do and bringing it to fruition. I mean, if that's not inspiring to you, you need a defibrillator. Like, I don't even know, and so it's just been such an amazing journey. And I anything, Joy, anything you do, I want to be in it. Like, I want to be in it. And maybe one one day we can have a conversation that you'll see, just how much it meant to me to be a part of this and everything that I went through as far as like self-doubt and being scared. Like when people are telling me I did such a great job, I'm like, really? I was really scared. They're like, what? You didn't look like you were scared at all. Right, because I'm an actress, right? That's kind of what I was doing up there. But I'm like, I was about to cry before I went on stage. I was like, what if I go on stage and I throw up? I'm like, come on, girl, you ain't gonna throw up. You worked so hard for this. If you go on stage and throw up, we're not doing that. Don't even entertain those kind of ideas. But just everything about this show has been so powerful. And Joy and Larita, like seriously, thank you so much, not just for putting me in the show, not just for making the show, but just for giving people, myself and others, a true living example of what it means to pursue something that really means something to you. And we've fed so many people. We didn't just make a cute show where we were shaking our butts. We really were enriching people and feeding people. You know?
Yes. A purposeful show.
Right on.
Purposeful art. No art for art's sake.
I was literally crying the next day. The next day I woke up and it really hit me what we had really done, and I was laying in my bed crying the next morning. Like
Well, listen, I had Baba Parnell Herbert next to me, and he was crying too. I just want. He was crying too.
And y'all too. He was crying because of all them onions in that stage. That's what he was crying from.
Right.
You would and Mr. Herbert.
Yeah,
I would be like,
sit next to them.
That's right. Right.
So, I think this is a breakthrough. This is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
This is only the beginning. This is amazing. And so, sisters, I want to say thank you.
Yes.
I want to tell everybody they need to see this show. So please let us know how True Love Movement can help. Please keep us looped in. We'd love to be a part of whatever you need us to do.
You gonna dance?
And we
You gonna dance?
What she said? Dance.
You know what, Mama Fiyah? I have a better question. You gonna dance?
No.
Nah. That's right. Turn it over there.
No, this is about you right now.
that is so funny.
Mama Fiyah does a wonderful, wonderful work.
Yes,
I have seen it. She does it her own.
I'm a private dancer.
That's right.
I'm a private dancer. Right?
And I appreciate it. But I would ask y'all this though, because the brother Baba Paul he said something important too, and I'm going to ask his question or restate what he said. But I would wonder, are you willing to go around and talk to younger sisters about this and about this work? Because there's that question of age appropriateness and how this fits with, because I can think of a lot of ways and a lot of reasons why it would be good to talk to young girls and teenage girls about this whole thing from you all,
right,
from this particular perspective, on the front side, to take away a lot of the lies and the misunderstandings that happen on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Would you all be open to doing that or putting something like that together?
Yes,
Indeed.
definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because that would I think the sister, she talked about healing people, and of course we're in the helping, we support the healing of people in True Love Movement.
Yes.
But I think that part of it too, and also to have Black boys present for that. Because a lot of the work I do is, I deal with sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and those things specifically geared towards, Black boys and Black men, because there is a lot of misunderstandings that are out there. And most of it is just the superficial stuff, but things that we can resolve if we deal with it on the front end, I think. So that they can enjoy something like this as opposed to, gawk at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see a Black woman as a piece of meat or an object,
That's right.
A thing as opposed to a person. I just got off a phone call talking to a friend about that, about how you know, we're people, you know, I mean, we women, we have to play our parts as well to redirect, you know, one, seeing men as people, as you know, as opposed to what we see them as a lot of the times too, and just rehumanize one another, and remembering that sexuality is a part of life. You know, if we remembered that without sex, none of us would be here, I feel like that could help to shift things. And remembering that, like, you know, a woman's vagina or a man's penis is a part of their body, just as their mind is, just as their arms are, just as their feet are. And as soon as we take it off of this pedestal of it being a taboo thing, or, you know, we stop getting popped in the mouth for talking about it, because it starts in childhood, you know.
Yes, it
You get
does.
popped in the mouth for talking about sex. You get popped in the
All
mouth
right.
for dancing a certain kind of way, and it ingrains you. Exactly, it ingrains you with that the idea that this is something that's bad. But mommy and daddy had sex 5 years ago, baby. That's how you got here. So
Right.
but mommy and daddy are nervous to talk to their children about that, and that's okay. You know, parenting is tricky the first 5 times around. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that you can perfect. You know, so it's something we all have to do. It's not on my generation. It's not on your generation. It's on all of us. Anyone who has any inkling of enlightenment, we have to share it so that our children can have the opportunities that I, as a 30-year-old woman, am trying to create for myself. Wow. I don't want my daughters to have to do the same kind of work that I'm doing, to learn about sexuality and womanhood and femininity and self-love and, you know, taking the guilt away from sex and all of that.
Well said, bro.
Well said. Well said. All right, my sisters, I'm not going to keep y'all too much longer. I know, Joy, you got to handle your business, got those babies. And
whole mama out here.
And make sure to take some time for self-care every single night. Make it a daily nighttime ritual to do something beautiful for yourselves. And just a huge congratulations from my heart to yours. I'm so proud of all of you. And I can't wait to see how it's going to blossom.
Definitely. And we want to thank you all for creating it and for inspiring so many people. You know, I personally enjoyed it. As well as Baba Purnell next to me, we enjoyed it.
And giving thanks to the for being in the
Hollywood, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh. For all that.
Yeah, Hollywood looked like he enjoyed it, and many of the other brothers that was there were proud as well. Everybody was excited. But we also want to thank everybody for joining us. Our Instagram feed ended a few moments ago. But we want to thank everybody for watching this, for joining in. And if you have additional questions or comments, the thread doesn't die. So please, after the broadcast, continue to engage and ask the questions instead of speculating or talking about it or having an opinion. You can actually have an exchange with the writers and producers of this Sweet Storm Productions, which we are so proud of. Yeah. You know, I remember before it was Sweet Storm. It was just, you know, like a pre-Sweet Storm.
This guy. So I want to also thank Black Pearl Amani for joining us as well. Yes. I'm so proud of you, sister. You have grown.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you have, and this was one of your dreams that you have attained. So you realize materializing your dreams is just one little, you know, heartbeat away.
That's right.
That's so true. That is so true. It's so huge that, like, I can really not get it all the way yet. Like, I'm like tearing up now. Like, oh my God, that is what happened. Yes, this was really just a conversation on your couch a few months ago, you know? And so just thank you so much, Brother Shaq and Ayana, for having me on your show today. Yes. Glad I had an opportunity to say the things I said. Joy and Larita, thank you so much for having me a part of your production. I love all of y'all. Thank you. I'm so happy to be a part of everything that we're doing.
Yes,
thank you. And I'm so proud of you.
Talk to you soon.
I'm so proud of you, Amani.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night, y'all.
Good night. Good night. All right, sisters. Love y'all.
Love you too.
I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your recoup vacation.
That's right.
Oh.
And I'll talk to y'all soon.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, fam. Later. Thank you.
Later.
So, you know,